This Kingtober discourse has made me want to talk about the ways that fiction can negatively affect people. I know, oh my god. I'm working towards a PhD in media ethics. I focus on things like the taboo, horror, queer media, etc. And there are ways that fiction can negatively affect a human being. And one of those ways is emotional dysregulation. There's an amazing study from MIT called Meeting George Bush versus Meeting Cinderella. In that study, it talks about how the human brain can tell the difference between fiction and reality. The human brain does react to fake authority different than real authority, fake danger different from real danger. It's the whole reason you can go through a haunted house being chased by a guy with a chainsaw without actually getting the genuine PTSD from being chased by a chainsaw. We know the difference between real danger and fake danger. We know the difference between reality and a falsified fiction. But wait, you might say, don't we feel things when we watch media? Don't we cry during sad movies? Don't we get excited during happy movies? Don't comedies make us laugh? Don't horror movies make us jump? A lot of people will reference these things when talking about ways that fiction affects reality. But this is not an example of fiction affecting reality because, again, those are not real emotions. Those are actually false emotions. One of the ways that we are able to differentiate those emotions in us are through looking at things like sadness and grief. When your favorite character dies in a movie, you might cry, but you're not going to go through all of the genuine stages of emotional human grief during a character's death. Because we know we didn't know them, and we know they weren't real, and we know no one actually died. So this part of us that would be genuinely grieving is let go because it's not needed, because there is no genuine person to grieve. It's the same way you can self-ship with a character without necessarily actually being in love with them. It's because our brains know the difference. But what happens if your brain doesn't know the difference? If it doesn't know the difference, it's actually a medical issue. I'm not your therapist. I'm not trying to be your therapist, so I'm just going to be really blunt about this because I'm not going to give you any TikTok therapy nonsense. If you are genuinely down in bed depressed for days because your favorite character died, that is emotional dysregulation. If you are genuinely in love with a fictional character to the point where it hurts, that is emotional dysregulation. If you genuinely have panic attacks and paranoid thoughts when it comes to horror movies, that is emotional dysregulation. These things can only be helped by a professional. Media can 100% harm us if we go in with an unhealthy or unsafe mindset. If we go into the media with a mental health issue or disorder that prevents us from being able to tell what is real and what is not. This is not the fault of the media, this is the fault of us being humans with different kind of health needs. Some people are genuinely not healthy enough to engage with fiction. And that's okay. That's not a moral thing. That's a health thing. No health thing is a moral thing. You know what I mean? And the reason Kingtober made me think of this is because the amount of people getting genuinely viscerally angry, the people who are genuinely threatening people and genuinely threatening to harm someone and being vicious over fanfiction. Seeing a trope you like or a character you like in a weird position should not genuinely anger you for days or weeks. Seeing a take you don't agree with or a fanfic you're not necessarily a fan of should not send you into a violent spiral. You are not healthy enough to be engaging with that fiction if that is your reaction. You are experiencing emotional dysregulation. And that is a way that media can harm a person. When a person uses that media to self-harm. When you cannot self-soothe, when you cannot self-protect. These are skills that every healthy adult should have engaging with fiction. If you struggle with emotional dysregulation when it comes to fiction, it's very good to speak to a professional. You need to be able to protect yourself, and you need to be able to differentiate the false emotions of fiction from your real-life daily emotions.